Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome here to a very special edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. As you know, I've been on the road at the ACC kickoff, and this man had to go and make a giant life decision while I was out here covering 14 schools in the ACC. But all jokes aside, because obviously I'm very happy for him, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to connect with Enrico Mastroianni. Marywood brought us together, and Marywood will help to bring us forward as we started our friendship about 8 years ago. And with him taking over the Marywood University men's basketball program, they reached new heights. My pun is completely intended, as he is moving forward to Abington Heights from here. After spending 7 seasons with the Marywood University Pacers men's basketball team as their head coach, not only did he get the team to back-to-back 15 or more winning seasons, 15-11 and 17-11, not only did he guide them from one conference to the other and make the playoffs in back-to-back years, not only did he bring him to the ECAC and get a victory in the ECAC postseason, with everything that he did on the court, we also look at the recruiting and everything he brought forward, the professionalism, the way that the team carried themselves, the expectations of the program, the bar that was set that is now greatly in a high position for whoever takes it over. On top of that, he's fundraised. He's done the tip-off dinner and brought so many other great things to Marywood University. He's helped out other programs. He has established a connection and a network and a desire for students and student athletes to be with one another, to support one another. And he did everything he could on campus at Marywood University to change the university, not just the program and not just the athletic department. So with that being said, he now moves on to Abington Heights. And we had the exclusive first story with Enrico Mastroianni with his quotes. And now we have the exclusive first interview with Enrico as he moves out of coaching into becoming an athletic director for the first time ever at Abington Heights High School. And the Comet behind us is very fitting for the wonderful Comets he will now be overseeing. So I know it's a long intro, but he deserves way more than what I said. I didn't use a teleprompter. This comes from the heart. Enrico Mastroianni, a fantastic human being that I got to meet about 8 years ago, that today I get to congratulate as he steps into a new chapter of his life that will only pay off with many dividends. Abington Heights, I know that you think you know what you're getting, but it's a lot better than that. With that being said, Enrico, how are you?
I'm doing great, Dan. Thank you. Thanks for the intro as always. And always a pleasure to be with you, my man. Appreciate it.
Well, I love it. I wore my salamander shirt for you. I used to go out and find them as a kid, go to camp, build little habitats for them. And now I wear the shirt very proudly. Enrico, this decision did not come lightly. And I'd love for you to go into the journey that it took to make this decision.
Yeah, sure. No, it definitely was not something that I took in, with careful thought and collaboration with my wife and children and just, all my advisors, it's one of those things that I thought when the moment came, it was really difficult to pass on. It's an incredible opportunity to take the next step forward, basically in my career in athletics. And, while there was probably a time when I thought I would only ever coach, and that's all I would ever do, this door kind of opened up for me, and it was I guess a message that now might be the right time. And I was lucky enough that Abington Heights agreed. So it worked out really well.
Stepping away from coaching, what was the hardest part?
Saying goodbye to the players. I get one more round with them this week. We have our last camp this week coming up, and that's going to be exciting. I get to in person say goodbye to a lot of the guys. Not everyone will be able to be there, but it'll mean a lot to me to be able to do that, and to the campers and families and everyone that has been out to support us over the last 7 years of summer camp. And we have so many people that have contributed to our program in one way or another, just coming to games, obviously coming to our events, our fundraising events, but, just really been there for support for us throughout the years, and being able to say goodbye face to face would be something that would mean a lot to me.
You did reach out to your team ahead of time?
Mhm.
and you sent to them and their families a very long and heartfelt letter, which I appreciate you sharing with me.
Yeah.
What was the necessity for you, in your opinion, to get to them first, and to not only get to them and reach out to them? And I know you reached out to them via Zoom because obviously it's summer,
Yeah.
so they're home, but to reach out to them via Zoom and to send them a long letter of gratitude and appreciation and to kind of bring them through your journey. Some people leave without anything. Some people send a text message. Some people say they're going to stay and they go. You, as you always do, put your heart on your sleeve and got in touch with your players, got in touch with your coaches, and reached out to families as well, and sent out a letter that had a lot of weight to it and a lot of meaning to it. Why choose to go to that extent when that's not always what people do?
Well, I thought it was very important to communicate directly to the players. I didn't want them to hear it from someone else. And I imagine that immediately after I made that statement to the players, that the first people they would talk to would be their parents. And I wanted to make sure the message was consistent, that there wasn't anything confused about it. The uniqueness of this move is that I'm not leaving to go coach a rival school. I'm not leaving to go coach another team at all. I'm going to, coach coaches basically, and leaving the college ranks and going to the high school and middle school arenas. And, that the premise behind this decision, while it was very challenging and difficult for me to make, that it was, deeply rooted and wholly rooted around family.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm moving into a position within the district where my kids go to school, 5 minutes from my house, it couldn't have been a more perfect situation for me at this moment in time. And the fact that I, going through the interview process with Abington Heights, they were incredible. I mean, the people there, the administration, and also, just the coaches in general. I know a lot of those people, and I know a lot of people in the community, and the support in even just these last, 24 hours or so now, it's been incredible. So I'm extremely grateful for that.
Yeah, and it's been incredible to be able to see that, this bond and this relationship that you've had with your players and with the school.
Mhm.
It's grown so much, and it's something that you've really put a lot of weight into, put a lot of work into. Why be the coach that you are? Why be the person that you are? Because you are not simply somebody who does X's and O's. You're not simply someone who just runs a practice. You've always asked for more out of yourself and more out of your players and your coaches. So why be the way that you are and really make that an identifier for you, that when you're coached by Enrico Mastroianni, you really can't compare it to anybody else.
Well, I appreciate that, Dan, but I'm sure there are a lot of coaches who handle their business in a similar way. I think, the most important thing to me, and I've been preaching this since before I came to Marywood, is just, we have to strive to win every day, win every day in everything we do. And I think, if you approach that, you approach life that way, and your daily business that way, success will follow. Opportunities will present themselves to you. And so I'd like to think that I've done that in my career, throughout my career. And I hope that I've done it, within my family and friends. And, I've tried to impart upon all of my players that I've ever coached, that's the most important thing, that if you can get through a day and say, I did the best thing I could in this, this place, that place, and this, at the end of the day, you're going to be a winner. And no matter what the scoreboard says at the end. And, we certainly experienced quite a few losses in our time together too, and throughout my career. But, regardless of the scoreboard and the outcome of the game, winning at the game of life is the most important thing. And I've tried my best to impart that on the people that I've been surrounded by. And I hope to bring that same mental attitude and positive attitude, to Abington Heights, which, they're very high achieving already as it is. So my job will be relatively easy there when it comes to mentoring coaches and student athletes.
Your time at Marywood, almost a decade, what are the things you're going to take with you overall? I know we've talked about your players. I know we've talked about that experience and building good men and not just good student athletes. What do you take with you when you look back over almost a decade of time in one place?
Yeah, it's the longest tenure I've had as a head coach at any one institution. You know, I've been getting a lot of messages today from former players and even, you know, former players from even when I was an assistant coach at Misericordia, just people who I've stayed in contact with. And, you know, you always wish you could be in better contact, more consistent contact with former players and friends alike. But, you know, the fact that the announcement was made late last night and people have had a chance to digest it a little bit today, some of the messages, you know, are genuinely proud and happy and ecstatic for me. And my message in response to that was, throughout our lives, you know, we come in contact with every, you know, different person that we cross paths with.
Yeah.
And, you know, all of those paths that we cross and all those people we interact with are, you know, something that leads to something else, right? It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. And so, you know, I don't get to where I am without all those past players, without all those past coaches and, you know, dating back to the, you know, beginning of my coaching career. And, you know, those people may not realize in the moment how much they mean to you or how much they may have impacted you. And I would hope that maybe, you know, that's reciprocated in some way, that I may have impacted them in some way. But, you know, in the end, I'm not here without all of them. And I think I'll take that with me, that those relationships mean the most to me.
You know, and being a relationship building person and somebody who appreciates the bridges that you have, what do you think has prepared you to oversee an entire athletic department, to go from being one coach to being the person that every coach has to look to for leadership?
I think all of my experiences have prepared me for that. To be honest, you know, I've had, prior to coaching, I had, you know, sales training and sales experience and sales management experience, you know, but beyond that, throughout my time in higher education, you know, I was an admissions counselor. I was a learning specialist, counselor. I was a mentor. I've taught, you know, freshman seminar classes. I've taught sport management classes. You know, I've been given opportunities to have leadership roles within the coaching world that I've been in, you know, like within the institutions where I've been, and also have classroom experience too, you know. And I think anytime that you are in a setting where you have to lead a group, those experiences over time, they help sharpen your skills. You know, the speaking engagements and, you know, the moments when you have to address a large crowd, you know, those are things that I've never been shy to do. I've always been comfortable doing it, but, you know, you don't perfect it until you keep doing it. And you probably never reach perfection, but you improve every single time. And so I think those leadership skills and those experiences have all contributed to this moment and what I'm ready to do next.
Enrico Mastroianni here with us in an exclusive first conversation since he has taken the job at Abington Heights High School as their athletics director in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, leaving his post at Marywood University, which he's had for the last 7 seasons. How do you come to this decision when you look at everything? I know we talked about the reasons, right? Your kids, Angelina and Elena and Marco, are in the district. You get to see them grow up. You get to see them at games. You get to be a few minutes away from your home. I understand all of those pieces of it. But when you sit and you think about this and you really had to bring it all together, what are those, when you got down on your knees and you prayed, when you called your mom, when you talked to your wife, when you said, "Hey, Dad, up in heaven, what are you thinking?" When you held your kids, what were the things that kept coming back to you that let you know it's going to be all right and it's time and you can love where you are and love what you've done, but it's time to challenge yourself over here. How did you know? Because I think that's a question in any walk of life. Yeah. To ask a person, how did you know that person was the one? How did you know that job was the right place? How did you know to go down this path and pave your own way when there were all these other concrete roads that were already ready for you? So how did you know that it was time?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, honestly, when we all got shut down with the pandemic, I know a lot of people talked about the value of spending time at home and what that meant. I really did enjoy that time. I did it, I took advantage of it because it was time that I had missed already. All those years that I had not been home during those times, I was getting to enjoy that now with my children. And that was really like eye-opening for me, that this is all the stuff that I've been missing. And so, once we got back into full swing, I went back, I got into it again. And of course, the kids love that dad's a coach, and they come to the games. They want to be part of that experience. And it's been great for us. But I realized, I'm not going to be able to do this probably forever. This is getting harder now that my kids are starting to get older and they're getting involved in sports and they're getting involved in other activities. And I want to be around. I don't want to keep missing those things. And so what I was doing was trying to figure out, well, what alternatives do you have? Right. So, to be honest, athletic director was not even a thought. It wasn't one of them. I was exploring options where maybe, leaving coaching altogether, leaving sports altogether, may be a realistic possibility for me. And, the more I thought about it and entertained ideas or offers and things like that, it just didn't feel right. Something about it just didn't feel right to me. And so when this position was revealed to me, I actually had heard about it, and I knew Randy Hanyon was the former AD at Abington Heights and did a great job and was a good colleague and mentor and friend to me while I was here at Marywood. I knew that he had stepped down, but I had assumed that it was a position that was maybe part-time. You needed to be a teacher or a guidance counselor or something. And then, along with that, the athletic director position. So when I learned that it was a full-time, non-certified, solely athletic director position, I said, geez, I wonder if I should, venture down this path and explore this. And so I did some digging, asked some people that I thought would know some answers, and found out that it was still open. They were still accepting applications. And, I may have been right on the fringe of that at the end of it. So I may have gotten it in just in time, but I'm glad that I did. And obviously it worked out for the best. And if the opportunity wasn't such a, no, well, pun intended again, slam dunk for me and my family, I probably would not have even pursued this.
What are the pillars that you believe not only make a good athletic director, but a great athletic director? What do you think you need that you're going to take in to this position at Abington Heights that is going to lay a foundation for your leadership that can pay off down the road?
Sure. I think in anything you do in a leadership role, you need to be transparent. I think that's the first thing. I don't believe in hiding or camouflaging things. I think, as a coach, I was transparent. I wore my heart on my sleeve. I always told the guys where they stood with me. I think with coaches, I'll have to do the same. Otherwise I'd be ingenuine to myself. Disingenuous is probably the right word for that. Respect, I think, is crucial to any relationship. And I think that's really what it comes down to, is building relationships with the coaches, getting to know who they are and what's important to them. And again, being a soundboard, right? They're already having success. I'm not trying to come in and reinvent the wheel. We're just going to try to make sure that we sharpen it a little bit and make the road a little bit smoother. So communication, I would say, transparency and respect. Those are probably the most critical things.
And for you, Enrico, how did the family respond when you took your time, took your due diligence, prayed on it, thought about it, wrote stuff down, took a drive, listened to music, whatever it took to get there? Number one, what did you do to kind of calm yourself down? Did you listen to music? Did you pray? Did you go and watch a Marvel movie? How did you get there to a point that was comfortable? I'd love to kind of know your process. And then secondly, how did you eventually share that after you had already spoken with the people that you love, to come back to them, to go back to your kids and to Jamie and say, hey, we've talked about this and I've done these things and I've come to this point. What are the things that you did? And what was the conversation like when you finally walked to your family and said, hey, I've made up my mind and this is what I want to do?
Yeah. Well, I think, the hardest part was getting the kids on board. I think Jamie understood, my wife, she understood that it was, a good transition for us. Right. But it was the kids that really, no, Dad, I want you to keep coaching. I don't want you to stop coaching. Marco still, when he realizes that I'm not going to be at Marywood coaching, he's probably going to be very upset with me. He doesn't quite fully understand yet that, next year Dad's not coaching basketball. But they're resilient kids. They'll get over it. Right. They always do. But I think it started to turn for me the more I investigated it and talked to people. And again, those advisors that, I trust and rely on, people that have been with me my whole life, besides family, some friends that have always, wanted to see me win and succeed. I think it's important to surround yourself with people who champion you and want you to be great. And I think, those people were transparent with me and honest with me. And that's important. And so like I always do when I make a big decision, and collected all the information, kind of weighed the pros and cons, as you said, prayed on it, tried to make sure that I was making the right decision for everyone involved, and then hoped to get the offer to be the candidate of choice. And once I was, it was a pretty quick turnaround. And so I had to make a decision on it pretty quickly. I talked it over with my wife and kids again, and just made sure we were all on the same page with it, and everybody was on board. So it was a good timing for us.
So we have a Comet behind us. They're the Abington Heights Comets. How would you describe a Comet?
It's a burst of, a burst of energy, a burst of stardust. It's about soaring and achieving heights and feats that can't sometimes be explained. I'm excited about what we're going to do at Abington Heights. And I know, like I said, I'm going into a situation where success is already the expectation. Achievement is already at a high rate, and I'm not going to try to interrupt that. I think, the only thing I'm going to try to do is, enhance it, improve it, put it out there on blast so that the world knows about what great achievements our Comets student athletes are achieving. And, my job is to make sure that I don't interrupt the flow of success that they already know.
And you're coaching coaches, essentially. So what are you excited about in that respect, to be the head of the family right now?
It's cool. I think, one thing that's really cool is that my high school coach, Ken Bianchi, is actually the head coach at Abington Heights for boys basketball right now. He's been there for a long time. I want to say it's got to be at least maybe 30 years now. And, he's just a tremendous human, tremendous individual, tremendous coach, and his assistant, Jeff McLean, who also was an assistant coach when I played. And knowing them, that will help. The head football coach is Joe Repshis, who was a teammate of mine in high school. So we have good connections and relationships, and there's countless others that are in the district that I could speak to that, it would be hard to mention everybody's name, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting in, settling in, getting to know the lay of the land, talk to the people that I know, and meet those that I don't know. And, again, just be a soundboard, just be out there to see if there's anything I could do to help make it easier. I think one advantage that I feel I would have is that, I'm coming from this career of coaching where, I've been in their shoes. I understand what they're going through. I understand what their, needs and wants and desires are. And so if I can help facilitate that in a way that, makes their life easier, then that's my goal.
For this move, before I let you go, Enrico Mastroianni, the exclusive first interview since he has decided to step away from coaching and become the athletics director at Abington Heights High School for the Comets. Did you ever see yourself as an athletic director? I know you said that this wasn't something you were thinking about in the here and now,
right,
but have you ever thought of yourself when you were done coaching to move into a role like this? Was this ever a plan at any point in your journey?
I wouldn't say that it was a plan. It definitely wasn't something that I was intentionally preparing for. I think it was always something that I realized would be the end goal, somewhere where, when you decided or somebody else decided it was time for you to stop coaching, that would be the most likely transition. But I don't think it was something that I ever thought would be happening at this point in my career. I had anticipated, and Dan, every coach expects to achieve certain things, right? And so, I'm going to live with the fact and be a little disappointed that we never did get to hang that banner here at Marywood, and that was something that I aimed to do when I came back home to Scranton to try to, build this program into a success. And so my only hope is that the guys that, come in after me will have that opportunity to succeed at that. But, as far as the end goal, yeah, I would bet probably somewhere down the line, it was in my mind that this would maybe be a transition, but definitely not at this point in time. And I'm grateful to have it now.
Here inside of the Cafe Cubal studios, you're here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the exclusive first interview with Enrico Mastroianni as he becomes the Abington Heights High School athletics director. Enrico, I know you said you wanted to hang the banner, but it's the longest tenured job you've ever had as a coach. It's the place you've been at for the longest amount of time, where you have really spent a lot of time on and off the court building even more so, because you've tried to build everywhere you've gone. But at Marywood, there were so many years and so many things that you brought to the basketball team that didn't exist before. So even though you didn't hang the banner, is there a thing or two that you consider to be your greatest victories and achievements at Marywood?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's so many things, and there's some that are related to basketball achievement, but even more than that. I mean, we just announced yesterday, I think it was yesterday that, or 2 days ago now, that we once again, won the Academic Excellence Award for the NABC. That's a team GPA of 3.0 or higher, or 3.2. I'm sorry, 3.2 or higher. And we've done that 5 of the last 6 years. And it's just never, we've achieved things that have never been done here before. I can't tell you how many guys in my tenure have been on the honors court, NABC honors court. That's juniors and seniors that have achieved a cumulative GPA of 3.2 or better. I got to say, on average, we probably had at least 4 a year. So you're looking at least 28 to 30 athletes that have done that during our time. We've graduated the number 2 and number 3 all-time scorer in our program's history. We've won the first ever postseason game in Marywood basketball history, Marywood men's basketball history. There are a lot of achievements. There are a lot of records. There are a lot of memories. But really, like I said, what I'll take away is the relationships, and some of them are so tight and ironclad that they'll never be broken. And I'm appreciative for that.
How did your coaching staff take it?
A bit of a shock, I would say, and I realized I had to tell the guys early because, one of my assistant coaches actually heard through the grapevine that I had accepted the job. And I figured if he had heard about it, then they might soon. And so I needed to make sure that I was transparent about that. But, they're happy for me. I think they all somewhere inside realized that, my focus and energy was maybe more so on home life than it ever had been before. And they encouraged me and supported me to, pursue this. So I'm grateful for them. They've been tremendous, and all of them. And I say them, meaning the guys that are with me right now: Zach Bruner, Jim McAndrew, Mike Latrella, Joe Picarello. But I mean all of them, the guys that have coached with me all the time throughout the years, and those that I coached under, and there's just so many names, like I said, to mention. It would be hard to do. So I don't want to bore all the listeners.
Are we bringing a tip-off dinner or some type of all-encompassing event to Abington Heights? I mean, there's a lot of things that you've created and ideas you've come up with at Marywood. Are you going to take a page out of some of this history here and be creative in fundraising and creative in events to say thank you and to find ways to form partnerships with people in the community and at the same time reach back out to alumni?
100%. Yeah, I think I don't know what format it'll be, but we're definitely going to put some things together. And I think it would be premature for me to kind of say this is what I'm going to do.
Tell me all your plans for the next 5 years. Go ahead.
Yeah. What's that?
I said, tell me all your plans for the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I would love to, but like I said, in every decision I make, I'm a collaborator. I don't make any decisions in a vacuum. And I think, it would be something that I would want to have input on from the coaches and the administration. And definitely, you know me, Dan, I love a good party. So we'll put something together and something that the community can enjoy and rally around. And I know that we'll have great success with it. This community, this Abington Heights school district community, is strong, and it's I'm very fortunate to be going into this district for sure.
Abington Heights getting a fantastic human being with so much to offer, so many layers and so many different avenues that he's gone down, that when you put it all together, it establishes leadership that is very hard to find. He said, well, there's a lot of people out there like me. Well, if that was true, then he wouldn't have the relationships that he has professionally and personally, because he is unique, and you don't give yourself enough credit, but I can give it to you because you can't stop me and I own my own business. So with that being said, Enrico, what do you want to say to the community, to those at Abington Heights, to the teachers, the administration in general, as well as the students and student athletes, past, present, and future? What would you like your message to be here today as you embark on this new journey?
First and foremost, thank you for the outpouring of support and welcoming of me into this new role. It's been a short time since it's been announced, but the waves have spread pretty far. So I've heard from quite a few people, and I'm anxious and eager to get started. My start date is not until August 23rd, but that doesn't mean that I can't get started with some things in between that time. And I anticipate being able to do that. Administration has been incredibly supportive, offering, time with me, conversation with me, any resources that I need. So I'm looking forward to taking advantage of that. And I guess the message would be to the community and to alumni, support it, because we're going to do great things, and you want to be a part of this. And we want to recognize you and honor you just as much as we want you to do that for us. For the students and the student athletes, it's a great time to be a Comet. Let's have a lot of fun. We're going to have a great experience. We're going to achieve great things. And in the end, as long as we follow that philosophy to win every day, we're going to do great things, and you'll have the experience that you're looking forward to in your high school career.
I want to also throw this at you. With all the changes in athletics that are happening at all different levels, what do you consider to be the most challenging part of your upcoming job as athletics director in an ever-changing world of high school, college, and professional sports? Yeah. And defining what an amateur athlete is, what a professional athlete is, and whatnot. In the world that we live in today, what do you find to be most challenging in a role like this?
Well, I know the world of coaching is a challenge. Obviously, I made the decision to stop doing it. I mean, for good reason, but there are coaches that stop doing it because of, the wrong reasons, because, there are sometimes interferences that take place, whether it be from fans or parents, spectators in general, people that interfere with what happens within a team, the inner workings of a team. And, it's a stress that unfortunately coaches have to deal with. It's a natural part of the role, but my job will be, and the hardest part of my job will be to retain those great coaches and make sure that they have the experience that they're looking for and that they can impart their wisdom and guidance on these student athletes that they intended to do from the onset. Sports is under a microscope. It's something that if you do some good things, you will get highly rewarded for. If you do one bad thing, it gets exposed and it gets amplified. And so we have to be very careful about how we handle our business as coaches and student athletes. But I think if we are handling our business the right way, and, Dan, I'm a big believer in, put good out and good comes back to you. So I think if we are handling our business the right way and we're putting that good karma out there into the world, into the community, it's going to come back, and we're going to feel the benefits of that.
What are you most excited about?
Honestly, I all of it. I mean, I love the fact that I'm going to have, a student body and a booster presence that is supportive, encouraging, and wants to win. Being in that environment where you're playing at a high level in every sport, that's going to be exciting to me. And I think, again, like the relationships, I know some coaches, I'd like to get to know the rest, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity because I do feel like, up in the summit, as we say, in Abington Heights, they do it well and they do it better. And I just want to be a part of that and help them achieve greater success.
That coming from Enrico Mastroianni here in our special exclusive conversation, the first conversation since Enrico has made the decision to move forward from coaching and become an athletics director, challenge himself in a different way, and to head off to Abington Heights to do that with the Comets in a wonderful, wonderful opportunity that's right up the road from him. Gets to be around family more, see your kids grow up, and affect a community that you live in every single day. There's so many great things about this, and it's a beautiful, beautiful ode to somebody who has worked so diligently and so hard. So as my alma mater will miss you, I am also very excited for what Abington Heights gets with you. And as you know, Enrico, as someone I consider family and a brother, you'll never have to worry about losing me wherever you go, because we're a package deal, Abington. So I guess you're going to have to get to know me a little bit.
I appreciate that, Dan. And, you've been spreading positive messages about me for years, and I appreciate it more than you know. And the feeling is mutual, brother. You know that. But honestly, I'm so grateful for Marywood and for you and people like you at Marywood that care, that were invested in what we were doing and really cared about helping us to succeed. And, you were right up there at the top of the list, man. You from day one, I know you wanted us to win, and I hope we did you proud as an alum and others that we've been that have been through this program.
Yeah, and Dr. Mary Jo Gunning, Pat Murphy, Sister Mary Persico, your assistants. There's a lot of people to thank at Marywood University, and happy that you were given the opportunity. If not for that, we may have never met. So I want to thank Marywood for giving me one of my closest family members, one of my brothers. And, to everything that you've achieved there, I know that it's only just begun here. It's a new challenge. It's a new arena. It's a new place. And I already know you're going to make history. I already know it's going to be incredible. And I already know that we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And now hopefully that you can have a little bit more of a schedule to spend some time with family. Well, hopefully we can break bread a little bit more, maybe run out to a Marvel movie or two. And I'll have to make my way over to the summit, up at the summit, and see some of the games up there.
I hope so, Dan. I appreciate your support as always and your friendship. And, I really do appreciate my experience at Marywood. Like you said, I wouldn't have met someone like you if I didn't get a chance to be here. And I'm grateful for that every day. But I'm also looking forward to the future, and I'm ready to go for the Comets. So go Comets.
Yeah, appreciate the past, live in the present, look forward to the future. Comets are here today. They're behind us. And I expect the entire community, just like the Comet is behind us here today, for you to get behind your new athletics director at Abington Heights, Enrico Mastroianni. For now, this is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in an exclusive special with Enrico Mastroianni from the Cafe Cubal Studios. Enrico, I thank you. And as I tell you all, God bless, no stress, do your best. Enrico, I know that God has blessed you and will continue to do that. I hope that you will have as little stress as possible. And I know you're going to do your best. So my best to you, my best to the community. Go Comets. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to continue to tell the story of somebody that doesn't really, there's not enough words that can express who you are and what you bring. And so it's hard sometimes to find exactly what to say, because I think it's just, I guess what I'll tell the Comets is I don't have to say it. You'll see it. So thanks, Enrico.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate you.